This episode of Inside Gaming Daily is sponsored by Movement. You can get 15% off your watch by going to movement.com/theknow.
Hello everyone, welcome back. That was a good start. Should not have eaten an entire pancake before this. Hello everyone, welcome back to Inside Gaming Daily for Friday.
Hey, it's Friday. Wait, should we do the yes for this?
I don't know, is that like weird?
Everybody wants me to do the yes. I've been saying it. Are you ready?
All right.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Yes! Yes! Oh, it's really good to be back.
Oh, yeah.
Let's kick off the new era of Inside Gaming by talking about Gamestop.
Damn it.
Everyone's favorite glorified pawn shop.
That's why we stopped doing this show. Anyway, we've all been there. It's the end of the month. You've had 6 back-to-back meals of ramen and discount hot dogs, and it's time to convert that backlog of video games into a roof over your head for 30 more days.
Savor the justice because GameStop is having some tough times of its own.
Yeah, the transition to digital games combined with Amazon's dominance in digital services like Steam have turned GameStop into the Fallout 76 of retailers.
Oh, that was a big burn, Lawrence.
Yeah, there's gonna come a day when taking cheap shots at Fallout 76 is not okay anymore, but today's not that day.
Is it okay to beat up a kid in a wheelchair? I think not.
GameStop lost a ton of market share over the years and its stock price is way down.
And to make matters worse, last year it tried to sell itself and couldn't even do that.
Oh boy, we know that very well. It gets even worse. GameStop CEO quit last year after 3 months on the job. Lawrence, what happened?
Yeah, it's never a good sign when the leader of your company decides to split before they even put the family photos out on the desk. Although maybe they had to trade in the photos for, $1.25 in cash.
You need that cash for the ramen.
So I guess the question is, what's got us so worried about the old white and red?
Kotaku reported about a week ago that GameStop has a new pre-order policy. If you pre-ordered a game and want your money back, you can only get a cash refund for up to 30 days after you pre-ordered. After that, it's store credit only.
Wow.
Previously, if you pre-ordered a game, you could get your money back whenever, as long as you had a receipt. It would just go back to the form that you paid. So if you put down cash, you could get cash back. So yeah, a lot of people speculated this means GameStop made this change because it doesn't want to be liable for future cash refunds for pre-orders. Like, I don't know. Maybe the company announces it's going out of business and everybody decides to do a run on the GameStop.
On their pre-orders?
Oh, wow. Well, hold on. Let's not It's a Wonderful Life the situation just yet. Let's take a look at the depressing road that led here. So first, GameStop might seem like it's been around forever, but it's actually not even drinking age yet. Yeah, you can't take her home. It grew out of the corpse of another retailer known as Babbage's.
I remember Babbage's.
There's also Funko Land and Software Etc.
Yeah, Software Etc.
Back in 2000. It became publicly traded in 2002 and acquired EB Games in 2005, which turned into the struggling juggernaut we know today.
That's where I spent my summers playing Halo, Software Etc. and EB Games.
Wow, you're so cool.
I wasn't. I was terrible at it.
Also, to be fair, GameStop is still massive. It's got 5,800 stores in 14 countries, most of which are in the US, followed by Europe and Canada.
Yeah, 2005 was a long time ago, though, and recent years have not been kind, as we all know.
Yeah, competition from the internet and digital stores have sapped 65% of GameStop's market value over the last 3 years.
The last 3 years? Ooh, that's not good. That is not good for them.
Yeah.
The company summed up its problems in 2017 annual report, saying, quote, video games are now played on a wide variety of mediums. Browser, mobile, and social gaming is accessed through hardware other than the consoles and traditional handheld video game devices we currently sell. Our business and results of operations may be negatively impacted if we are unable to respond to this growth in popularity of these new forms of gaming. End quote. That's
Maybe.
really bad.
Damn.
Yeah, that's really, really bad.
So I guess to try and adjust to the changing times, GameStop has tried to add other products in its stores like collectibles, gaming accessories, we've seen all that stuff, even comic books. As part of that, it bought the pop culture retailer ThinkGeek back in 2015. That's why most GameStops look more like a toy store these days, right, Lawrence?
Yeah, it's aren't we trying to break off a chunk of that? We're trying to get our shit into GameStop?
Yeah, we're trying to get our stuff into GameStop.
Make me a Funko Pop.
We have a video, but we don't have any merch.
But most of its money still comes from selling new and used games, physical copies of games, like people used to play back in caveman days. Physical sales accounted for more than half of its entire revenue during the last quarter, which is bad.
Another problem for GameStop is that most of its stores are located in old school shopping malls. You know, those places that you go to buy things that no one ever goes anymore.
There might be an islands there? I don't know.
I think the kids are too busy flossing and getting the measles to go to malls these days.
Making matters worse, GameStop CEO Michael K. Maller quit in May after 3 months of the job. Maller said it was for personal reasons.
Which probably meant I personally don't want to work here anymore.
And somehow it gets worse. GameStop is currently looking for its 5th CEO in a little more than a year. Isn't that like the Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher?
Yeah, basically is. Wait, I have an idea. Lawrence, you want to be the CEO of GameStop?
I guess I get to be in a movie, but I'll be dead by the end of it, right?
Any radical ideas that could change this
I'll
place?
just end up working for Voldemort, and I got like Bobby Kodak's face on the back of my head.
Oh, yeah, you turn around? GameStop's basically that gazelle that's getting slowly stalked by lions or whatever. Sorry, I watched Planet Earth last night. That's just brutal.
In this case, the lions right now are private equity firms that strip businesses for parts. So, for more information on this, you can just ask the Fresh Toys R Us carcass.
Oh man, in the summer of last year, GameStop announced that it was putting itself up for sale, or at least talking about it with some potential buyers, which included some, you guessed it, private equity firms, right, Lawrence?
Yeah, that doesn't send the best signal about the health of your company when you're basically like offering up your body to the free market to pick it apart. Accordingly, market analyst site Seeking Alpha claimed that they were, quote, circling the drain.
They did, I read that article.
It's an interesting one, yeah.
Wow.
But to be fair, it's a shitty market for a lot of retailers right now. We just saw Toys R Us close down, same with Circuit City and the bookseller Borders.
Yep.
Anyone
What year is
remembers
this?
those?
Sears, actually, which used to be a behemoth, declared bankruptcy last year. So did Claire's, but its stores are still open. They're usually in malls as well. So your little sister still has a place to go buy crappy earrings.
Yeah, that's where you get it done. The question though is, how is GameStop doing compared to those guys? To find out, we dug into the financial data of a bunch of retailers to get the idea. You should try it sometime. It's a huge hit at parties.
No.
Yeah.
It's not a big hit at parties.
Is that why they move away from me?
Lawrence, why don't you do it?
Right, so yeah, we're going to be using a metric called comparable store sales. That's the percentage change in a company's stores from one year to the next. So it's like year-over-year performance. All this data comes from retailers' most recent financial reports, which Brian looked through. Thank you, Brian.
Yeah.
Comparable store sales at Sears, for example, were down 4% compared to the previous year. Like we said, times aren't great. Meanwhile, Barnes & Noble was down 1.4%. JCPenney was down 5.4%.
Wow.
But what about GameStop? So the last reported comparable store sales were up 2.1%.
Oh.
So compared to other struggling retailers, GameStop's actually doing better.
What?
But, and there's a big but to go along with this.
There always is.
So in November, GameStop stock dropped after it told investors, yeah, we're not going to do this well over the holidays as we thought.
Ooh, that's never a good sign, especially for the holidays and GameStop.
Drunk dialing's a bad idea.
And they were right, which is a shitty thing to be right about, but GameStop's got to take the wins, however small. For the 2018 holidays, their sales dropped 5% compared to the year before. That's real bad, considering that's when retailers do most of their business.
Yeah, if GameStop is doing better or at least less bad than other retailers, how come those aforementioned private equity firms won't even touch them?
Now, this is the most depressing part of all.
GameStop has more than $470 million in long-term debt, which a buyer would be responsible for. And since tons of market analysts predict that the interest rates will be rising pretty soon, taking on a ton of debt is about the furthest thing from a good idea.
GameStop alluded to rising interest rates, saying in a release that it, quote, terminated efforts to pursue a sale of the company due to the lack of available financing on terms that would be commercially acceptable to a prospective acquirer, end quote. Lawrence, what does that mean?
That just means you smell bad. It's like trying to sell a house with a few dead bodies crammed in the walls.
It's also foreclosed.
Yeah, an Indian burial ground.
Oh,
Somebody
man.
barfed on the front porch.
Someone might want it. Yeah, as Lawrence basically perfectly illustrated there, after GameStop announced that no one wanted to take it to prom, its stock collapsed, dropping 27%.
Oh, boy.
Then GameStop announced that it was devoting a quarter of itself to self-care by playing old video games and masturbating alone.
Oh.
Kind of like my prom night.
That sounds awesome, actually.
It was a good night.
Not all of GameStop was unwanted as you on prom night. It recently unloaded a subsidiary business, Spring Wireless, for a cool $735 million, and they might have to use some of that money to pay off all the debt.
Yeah, so I guess the big question here is GameStop dying or not, Lawrence?
Well, since their prospects are awful right now and show no signs of improving, it's really hard to imagine any path of GameStop to reverse its fortunes here. So I'd say we give it an official, yeah, it's dying certification. You should spend your store credit now, people.
Yeah.
If you got anything tied up in there, liquidate that equity.
How about this? Game Steam. Because then we got GameStop and Steam combined, they do
Together.
their own digital distribution. Guys, I'm the new CEO of GameStop.
And with that said, that will be doing it for this episode of Inside Gaming. But before you go, would you like to pre-order Anthem? Perhaps you want a subscription to Game Informer.
I would like both of those things.
Also, we have a discount program that, hey, where are you going? Get back, no, we need your money!
No, they're not getting my money.
Today's episode of Inside Gaming Daily is sponsored by Movement. As you can see, they make quality timepieces that feature minimal but stylistic watch faces for the executive gamer that needs to know what time it is. I really like this watch, mostly just because it's not filled with a bunch of flashy stuff. And Movement makes sure that their products are affordable. Their watches start at $95, which is pretty good for a designer watch. Usually at a retailer you'd be paying $400 or $500. Makes for good gifts too. Everyone always needs to know what time it is, and you can tell them using Movement. We also have a promo code for you guys. You can get 15% off your order by going to movement.com/theknow. One note, that is mvmt.com/theknow for 15% off your order. So thank you, Movement, for the sponsorship.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Inside Gaming Daily for Thursday.
Oh my gosh, it's Thursday! We have waited for years to say that.
That's right. Thanks to an impossible series of corporate acquisitions and mergers, we're right back doing the show that we ran away from nearly 4 years ago to the day.
Sometimes crumbs do fall off the millionaire's table, huh?
Right, Lawrence?
Delicious.
Anyway, we'll sort through the weird history of this whole ordeal